Well, it's number one. What we were trying to do was call attention to the plight of a group of ladies who deserved better than what they were getting, and that's all we were trying to do. Under the law, federal law, since Marbury versus Madison, no state court has ever been able to give an order to the federal government. And all of a sudden, unsuspecting, not suspecting a thing by me, we're in the midst of a standoff with the government and end up, in essence, changing the law of the land since the Republic was instituted. Yeah, the first thing I did was to file in the state court garnishment proceedings against the federal government. The federal government was the employers of these soldiers or these retired individuals, and they were the ones who paid them the money, and therefore the government would be the garnishee, and therefore we developed a form, if you will, to garnish the United States government for the obligations that the judgment that these ladies had for child support gave them. Well, the first thing we did was we realized we had a judgment, and then the next thing was, well, how do we collect the judgment? And there's several ways you can collect a judgment. One is by garnishment, one is by seizure of property, another is by lien on property. But we sat there and started to think about it, and I thought, well, the best way to collect this would be to seize property of the government. So initially we thought we'd go out to Fort Benning and seize a few tanks. And we decided that, well, those guys have guns and we might have a problem. And about that, during these discussions, I settled upon the idea that the simplest thing to do would be to go to the IRS to try and seize their property, because they were the government agency that had the most experience with garnishments, judgments, seizures of property, etc. And I thought they would understand it best. Well, at that point, what it meant to me was we're in charge. Our judgment has been upheld by every court in the land, and we have the right to seize the property. Therefore, we tell the sheriff, do your duty and seize the property. And at that point, the United States Attorney says to our sheriff, if you touch any of this property or attempt to take any of it, I will have you arrested and thrown in jail. Whereupon our sheriff kind of got cold feet and backed off. And at that point, it was sort of a Mexican standoff.